Your search is over, now welcome to First Mint. Looking for NFT content? Look no further, cause this is it. From Top Shot to blockchain, they got the data chops, analysis, and pack drops the shows equator hot. LG and Phil D, the best amongst others. Best brothers that happen to ball since the Ball brothers. So settle in, cause it's time for the best show. Ayo Quad, who we reppin'? First Mint. Let's go.
There we are. Hey.
Whoa. What is
First
going on
Mint.
here?
Let's go.
First Mint.
How many
let's
people
go.
how many people do you think that listen to the show? What percentage listen to the entire song?
I don't think there's a single person that fast forwards 30 seconds through that song. Why would you? It's such a catchy
I don't
song,
know.
dude. Like,
Yeah.
I rock to it every time. Every time I hear it,
Yeah.
I'm just rocking out to it, right?
I mean, the audio
love it.
version, I do add like a 2-minute blurb usually before the show, just to like kind of get, especially when we do long shows, I just add like a 2-minute blurb so that people know like what we talk about through the show in case they want to move ahead or whatever. Cause I just assume not everybody wants to hear us talk about.
That's
you
true,
know,
but
like,
you
things
always
that happen
watch
to
the
us as
opening
kids.
of a show, right? Like, for
It's
me,
true.
that's
It's
kind of a
true.
thing,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
if I not that I ever watched Saturday Night Live, but when someone like Drake was on it or something, or The Weeknd or someone I liked, I would record it back in the recording days, and I would always actually watch the intro just because it's like something you watch, right? You don't go straight to whatever it is. Maybe the intro has something you're interested in too. So I think people watch it. But yeah, here we are, a long weekend
In
edition
Canada. Is it not in the
First Mint.
US?
It's not. It is.
It's not. Okay. I
Nope.
always thought it was, but then I was like, long weekend this weekend, and like any of the
nobody
American
knows
people
what
I
you're
know
talking
were
about.
like, they're like, what are you talking about? Like, please respond to my email, you know?
No, only in Canada. It's also called the civic holiday. And what I find the funniest about the civic holiday is that it's the one holiday where everything is still open. Like,
yes,
Costco's open, Walmart's open, everything's open. Nothing's closed. You just don't go to work today, right?
No, it's not like Canada Day. On Canada Day, it's like everything is closed. Like only the restaurants who make enough money to pay people 2.5 times their normal wage are open. You know what I mean? But otherwise, yeah, you're right. No, civic holiday. It's kind of a weird. Why do we have a civic holiday? Like, did we just? I feel like 10 years ago, Canada just decided to add like 2-3 extra holidays through the year, right? Is that why we have
one
this
for
now?
every month, right? We have to catch up to other countries. Other countries have all sorts of holidays. We have
other countries like Europe. They have like 8. They take like 8 weeks vacation. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and they work half days, and they work all sorts of stuff like that. Man, countries are moving to 4 days a week, but we are now at a point where we have a national holiday every month from April. I'm going to say until October, with our Canadian Thanksgiving, which is in October. Right? Are you drinking a Bud Light while
I wish it's a Montalier. It's a Montalier.
Oh, I hate that stuff, dude. I like sparkling water, but that one's like salty. It's weird, man. It's like it's from the ocean. I don't know about that.
I live with the
you're
ocean,
crushing
maybe.
a Bud Light.
I wish, you know, it's like 3:30 on a long weekend. I should be crushing some beer. I think that's what I'm going to do right after this. No, but you know what, Phil? Actually, who cares about the holidays in Canada? Yeah, Canada has a lot of holidays.
Nobody.
Just so everybody knows, okay? It doesn't matter. We don't have to talk through that.
There's way more important news out of Canada, and that's the fact that there was some big news about our prime minister in the last week, and we don't need to get into that. But there's even bigger news about the prime minister of Canada, and it's the tweet that he put out yesterday, which is causing waves all over.
I don't even know what you're
right
talking
now.
about.
This was the lead story on the BBC this morning because they were questioning his mental health and what's going on. He posted a picture of him and his son at the movies. You need to find this picture.
Okay, I think I saw this. Yeah, but I don't
know.
Okay,
but the caption is what got people. Okay, with all the rumor. Okay, for those who don't know, the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, recently separated with his wife. Okay, this had been rumored forever. People have been saying that they are not together. There's been rumors that he's really with, he's got a boyfriend, things like that. Okay. Forget all that.
There's no rumors of that. That's your rumor.
No, there is. No.
I've never heard anybody.
LG is not in tune. If you look, there's pictures of him and the French prime minister like kissing and stuff. I'm not even joking. Okay. Yes, there is. And you know who showed me that? LG, this confirms it. Your very own mother showed me that. Okay, so don't start with me.
Okay, this is a Phil and mom conspiracy. Okay, I don't know anybody else.
But anyways, so Justin Trudeau loves to add fuel to all the fires all the time. Like when there's protesters outside, he waves at them, blows them kisses, goes in his SUV, comes back for round 2 of waving and kissing at them.
Can I just preface this? Can I preface what you're going to say, since we're going to talk about Canadian politics? Sure. Add my own context to the Justin Trudeau thing. Justin Trudeau, he became prime minister 8 years ago. It's been a long time. He's the son of Pierre Trudeau, who was a great prime minister who was in power for like 20 years and did a lot of great stuff, and also got divorced and then dated a bunch of celebrities right after. Anyways, like Barbara Streisand. Yeah, that's right. Prime Minister of Canada once dated like Barbara, had like a fling with Streisand. Anyways, so he's the son of this guy, and he, prior to being in politics, because he only became prime minister when he was like 44 or something like that. In his like 20s and 30s, he definitely was a twerp. Like he had the reputation of being kind of a dickhead. And that's why there's like one of his biggest scandals is like the blackface photos. It's like, that's the kind of guy he was, like just an asshole, like maybe not racist, but just a dick. Right. So that's pretty well known, and obviously tried to clean up, and now he's a prime minister and he tries to be all well-spoken. But anyways, I feel like you need that context just to understand, why Trudeau likes to instigate people like you're describing. Mm-hmm. It's because deep down inside, he's like that. Okay.
So based on what LG just said, and just to follow that up, so about a week ago, it was announced that he was separating from his wife. And obviously the vultures were waiting for that. The rumors came out of this, the rumors came out of that. People are going crazy saying they haven't been together in years, which is very possible. Anyways, she wants nothing to do with him anymore. Yeah. So again, the rumors are not mine that he's got a boyfriend, all that. That's just all over the social media pages. Okay. Yeah. So yesterday, he feels the need to put out a tweet of him, and what people didn't know it was his son. Some people thought that was the boyfriend. They're like, oh my God, that's him. Right. But you can tell it's his son. I think he looks like him. He looks like his wife. And I knew that their kids were that.
His son's grown up. Like people are
his son's grown up.
People having, when someone's like, this is my son, they expect you to show like a 5-year-old kid. You know what I mean?
That's all we've known them as, those kids anyways, right?
Like, that's it. Yeah. You never really see them in
They've kept a very private life in terms of when it comes to his wife and kids. They've been out of the spotlight almost forever. You don't see them. They just don't. Like he goes to G Summit meetings by himself. That's weird. Yeah. But that's what he does. Yeah. So yesterday he felt the need to take a picture of him and his son at the Barbie movie, which is already okay. Listen, I'm going to get killed for this, but it's kind of weird. All right. I would go with my daughter to the Barbie movie, not my son, but maybe listen, maybe he's into that.
Kill you for that. We don't have I don't know if we have much.
I don't think our audience. Stone Cold's probably
and me that you said the Barbie movie is weird. Okay. Like you can just have an opinion, and it doesn't have to be like a part of a movement. Okay, so, fine.
Well, so let's pull up the picture, because this was on the BBC this morning.
I think this is nice. I don't like. I'll explain why in a second, and not in the way that you think. But oh my God. Here we go. Yeah, it's a little much. I mean, I actually didn't. How old is his kid? Like that kid's ripped.
I told you.
How old? He's massive.
We had no idea. We've only seen his kids as like these little kids, right?
So this is like a young. I don't know. The guy looks like 20.
Maybe he's like 15 or 16. It looks like a teenager to me.
Ripped, man. The guy, basketball. Yeah, whatever they do. Yeah.
So anyway, the caption said Team Barbie. I don't even know what that means. Like I was asking people that because my daughter saw the movie, and I'm like, is there a thing where you have to pick like a team? Like, what's the other team? Team Barbie or Team who? Is it Team Ken? Like, what's the story here? Is it Team Ken, Team Barbie? You're obviously picking a team, and they picked Team Barbie, but it comes out of.
I didn't know about that. First of all, there was so when you go, so
I don't know.
Okay, can we just go back to what your daughter said? So when you go see the movie, you have to choose if you're Team Ken or Team Barbie. That's what you do.
I tried to ask her that, and then the conversation was so chaotic between so many people that I don't remember what she said. So I don't know if that's the case. I don't know who's going there dressed in Barbie who's going to cheer for Ken. Like that doesn't make sense, right? Like you're probably going to have that one random guy be like, yeah, and then get eaten alive inside the theater. Yeah. But the BBC was saying, have you ever seen a world leader? First of all, at the movie theaters, okay, that's just you don't see that anywhere, right? Only a Canadian leader would be able to go to the movie theaters and nothing happens. And you know, like I said, he knows what people are saying. And he's like, you know what? Let me just dump more gasoline on this whole thing and let people go crazy with it, right? So, but anyways, that's been the big news. You can tell it's a long weekend here when that's the big news.
I think as much as people think he's a big doucher for it, I don't think it's great. Like, I don't really have an opinion on this, but I think it's really interesting for anybody who does know Justin Trudeau, the way he tries to cater his image. I just find it really fascinating. You know what I mean? And there's been other photos like when they went to India and they're all dressed up and all that kind of stuff. Like that, I find that really, I just think it's really interesting that that's in the spotlight and that he goes out of his way to like make sure people know about it. And it's good, like you're saying, it instigates people, makes people think he's a weirdo, which is true. Like there's a lot of different stuff, but I find it just fascinating just to be.
I've got some announcements.
I hit that.
Whoa. Hey. I thought you had something. I was like, holy shit, we have some real.
No, yeah. And here he is.
Trudeau. No, you should have found someone who was in that movie theater. Yeah, let's meet the guy. It's like that secret video of Trump that came out today. Someone was hiding in the bushes while he was golfing the other day. And it's like the worst golf shot you will ever see in your entire life. Right? He's got all his Secret Service. He's like 40 yards from the pin. And he shoots it like 1,000 yards the other way, like the worst shot ever. I love that kind of stuff.
Oh man, that's fantastic.
But I agree with what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I'm not bothered by it. I found it entertaining, and the fact that it ruffles so many feathers for me is I'm all about the entertainment. It's the same with Trump, right? The more stupid shit he does, I freaking love it, man. So
and politicians these days, they just try and be part of like whatever's going on. You know what I mean? It's kind of like brands. Like when brands were tweeting about NFTs and shit like that, we're saying DM to each other. Like it's cringy, but you're like, they're trying to appeal to you. I don't know who. So that's like even him being like Barbie movie. It was just the same kind of thing. He's just trying to appeal to whatever he thinks his base is. So
I don't know if anyone else was in that theater, but we'll see.
Phil, can we talk about something that happened this weekend that Justin Trudeau used to do before he became a politician when he would do it as part of celebrity boxing was Jake Paul, Nate Diaz. I feel like you and I are the only people I know who were watching the fight. And Steve, our loyal listener, Steve, who were texting about it. He's saying he's trying to go to bed early to go for like some bike ride. But then when I started texting him about it, he started watching it too. But other than that, I feel like I don't really know anybody else who's watching it.
Really? I feel there was a ton of people watching it. Like, I don't know what the numbers
I just don't hang out with people like that or something. I don't know. Texting a bunch of people being like, man, you got to watch the fight. Nate Diaz is this like comical UFC fighter. And everybody knows Jake Paul. And I don't know, nobody's into it. So yeah.
It's man, like, okay. So first of all, I thought it was an entertaining fight. You're right though. A lot of people are watching, a lot of people are actually asking for updates. So I think people weren't willing to pay for it. But they were intrigued in what was going to happen. The reason I think it's so popular, because if I'm being honest, I think it was one of the more talked about fights of 2023 so far in all combat sports.
Yeah.
Just because like these two could be street bums, but because of who they are, because of who Jake Paul is your ultimate villain to the point where people are thirsty for his demise on national TV and in these big moments, right? But he's strategically picking opponent after opponent where his demise is nowhere near happening right now, right? Like when I saw the odds in Vegas for this fight, because I thought to myself, like, this is going to be a tight fight. Like I know, like Nate Diaz is a street fighter. Like he grew up a street fighter and then he kind of learned his trade after that. But I thought for sure, like Nate Diaz has a chance in a fist fight with a guy like him. But unfortunately, I'm not a huge mixed martial arts guy. And I'm not a huge boxing guy. I watch them, but I don't know anything about the actual sport and the techniques and stuff. But boxing is still not a street fight. You know, if you don't have, some sort of technical skill in the sport, you're going to be in trouble. So when I saw the Vegas odds and I saw how favored Jake Paul was, I'm like, okay, so obviously they know something that this fight probably won't be that close. And so for me, that kind of ruined it because I'm like, okay, well. You can usually tell by the odds. There's big upsets, and it happens sometimes. But let's be honest. Nate Diaz never even came close to hurting Jake Paul. It looked like it a couple times, but I did love the entertainment that he brought, and I did love that he was himself in there in the sense that he's such a warrior, and you can't really do damage on the guy. You can do damage, but you're never going to kill the guy. You're just not going to kill.
Yeah. For anybody who didn't watch the fight, basically it started and it looked like it was going to be done in 30 seconds because Jake Paul in the first round just beat the shit out of Nate Diaz. Like Nate Diaz, if you know who he is, he's just this like dog looking man who is like literally the kind of person where it's like if you're walking through an alley and that guy was like, hey, you would fucking run. Like you would just run away if you saw Nate Diaz. Like you know what I mean? If he like approached you in public, you'd run away. Like, he's a scary looking guy. And the thing is that with like Jake Paul, like you're saying, like just fought Tommy Fury, the younger brother of Tyson Fury. Tommy Fury is like a real boxer. You know what I mean? Like he is like a very talented, incredible boxer, you know, one of the top dozen boxers in the world or something like that. You know, like he's really good. So Jake Paul just come from that. So then when Nate Diaz is like standing there, like just kind of hanging out, and Jake Paul beat the shit out of him. Like the first round, he was just pummeling him. And Nate Diaz was like kind of surprised. He's like, oh, he's like kind of running away. And then he had this huge swollen eye that was like half shut. And then in the second round, he just kind of came back to normal and fought the rest of the fight, another 9 rounds with like a swollen shut eye. Like it was nothing. And that was insane. I was way more entertained in this fight by Nate Diaz. You know what I mean? Like this was like, I was like, I didn't care at all about Jake Paul or what he was doing. Against Tommy Fury, I cared, right? Because Tommy Fury is like, well, this is a real boxer. Let's see if Jake Paul can hang with him. Tommy Fury, I'm like, this is a good boxer, but like, I don't care about what he's doing. I care if Jake is going to stay in this fight. But in this case, I was like, I do not care at all. Like it was interesting watching the fall. I was like, I don't care about Jake Paul. I love Nate Diaz. I want to see Nate Diaz do more of this. I'd pay for Nate Diaz to fight other weird people like that in like some kind of celebrity boxing. I think that'd be awesome. So
it was just my thought. His technique was like, it's almost like he wasn't even trying. Like when he was hitting, he wasn't hitting hard. Obviously, he's a bare knuckle guy where when his knuckles hit you, it's going to hurt and maybe knock you out, but not when he's got those gloves on. And what strikes me about Nate Diaz is I don't think he's worked out a day of his life. I just don't. Like you will never see abs on this guy.
Yeah.
There's no muscle definition ever.
Guy, but it's like that just is naturally like super strong, but doesn't look like it at all. Like
that's the thing. His brother was a even more talented fighter than him, Nick Diaz. Yeah. But Nick Diaz could never follow the rules and was showing up high at almost every single press conference and fight. And at the time you weren't allowed to, and he didn't care. No. He would continue to do, smoke weed. He did it before all the testing and the weigh-ins, and he'd get thrown out of the UFC for like a couple of years. It never stopped.
Man.
These guys don't care. They just
that's what I'm saying. It's like this is like Phil. You know what it is? You know what it is? Like the Diaz brothers to me are the last of a breed of athlete that existed in like the 90s and early 2000s. You know what I mean? Think about like hockey in the 90s. Just these tough, like scary No helmets. Nobody's working out. They're smoking cigarettes all the time, drinking all the time. You know what I mean? Like getting wasted, but they are tough as nails. And they're scary. Like you're like, man, like think about like Scott Stevens when he hit Paul Correa. It's like he killed him. Like Paul Correa was like dead for a minute, and then he came back and scored, which is amazing. That's what hockey is, or what it was. You know what I mean? And I feel like these guys, I'm like, this type of athlete doesn't really exist anymore. Like there aren't new athletes that are like these guys. That are just these like tough, scary, like indestructible men. You know what I mean? Like that just doesn't exist. And I think that's what I found so entertaining. I was like, holy shit, I never thought about Nate Diaz as that type of like super tough dude. Right. So
he's the kind of guy that you can tell he's been jumped by like 10 guys in the past.
Yes.
And he's the guy that emerges like having whooped like 4 or 5 of their asses.
And he's laughing the whole time.
And he's laughing, he's bleeding and all that. And he just emerges and he doesn't care, man. He keeps coming forward, right? He's looking for these guys. Because that entire fight, actually, aside the first round, he was the aggressor in the way he was moving, not the way he was hitting, but he kept coming forward the entire fight. He was the one going forward. And he snuck in that guillotine near the end. That was awesome. Dude. Like that was
this is another thing for anybody.
Kind of like a preview, right? He's like
at the very end in the 10th round, very, very end with like 10 seconds left after the like clack kind of thing.
You could have put him to sleep.
Like Jake Paul kind of comes in for like one of those boxing hugs that they do, and Nate Diaz grabs his head, puts him in a headlock, and starts doing the guillotine on him for like a half second. Like just as a joke, but like enough for people to catch on and like the announcer.
I think
guillotine.
I think it hit him in his brain that hold on, This is my style. I could just put him asleep right now, and I should. Just who gives a fuck? But if I do that, that 10 million bucks that's on the table will no longer be on the table.
No,
let me just hold back for 1 second and do that in the actual octagon. Yeah. But if you don't make any mistake about it, that was a message sent to Jake Paul. Like, dude, this is how fast I can put you out. Okay. Like, seriously. What are you going to do when I put you in that position? Right.
Well, and that's what's kind of the craziest thing, right? And we were texting about this is like, and this is so obvious, but it's like, if they weren't in a ring and they didn't have boxing gloves and they were two guys in an alley fighting, like the fight would be over in 20 seconds. Because you can
I think so.
As much as you want, but in a closed area with somebody who is an expert at jiu-jitsu, you can maybe land one punch, but then you're going to be on the ground.
Too many disciplines available to Nate Diaz.
Yeah, and with judo, and like there's everything else that everyone into MMA. It's like, but you like if you're better, because the thing in MMA is like if somebody's a better fighter that like stand-up boxer than you, then just take him to the ground. You know what I mean? Like that's what you do, right? Like that's
or the minute he locks up, do exactly what Nate was doing at the end there, and that fight will be over in 2 seconds.
Exactly, right.
Which is why I'm surprised though that Jake Paul is this quick to want to do that. Although it wouldn't ruin his boxing career. Okay, it wouldn't ruin his boxing career because he would just say, "Hey, look, I tried. I'm not ready for MMA. Let me go back to boxing and kill you guys there." Right. So I think it's low risk for him, and I think it'd be pretty popular. But I don't even think it would last that long. If that ever happens, LG, we got to go get our buddy there to come on this show. In the PFL there, the French guy. What was his name?
Oh,
yeah. We got to get those guys.
The guy who was into Axie Infinity and wore the Bitcoin shirt.
We got to get those.
Jean-Alain something.
No. It's Auger. No, I'm thinking about the tennis player.
Sébastien Auger Mercier. Is that not it? Is that
Auger? Auger is the tennis player. It's not Auger. It's something else. Anyways, it's. We got to get because I don't know if you went on the show with those guys, him and his podcast buddy there, but those guys.
You went. I didn't go.
I listened to yours. Those guys are crazy, man.
We got to get back on RDS, which is the French TSM. TSN is like the main sports network in Canada. All right, just so everybody knows, it's like our version of ESPN. They literally use ESPN graphics, but the French version of that is RDS in Montreal. And Phil and I went to talk Top Shot on RDS once.
Well, that was also those guys were into Ballerz too, not just Top Shot. Like they were all over anything basketball.
He came on to one of our spaces too. That guy.
He came on to one of our spaces. He spent $4 or $5 grand on a Ballerz. Okay, he got he was one of the only others that got a hoodie made, like the hoodie I got made of my Ballerz. The same guy made him a hoodie, and he wore it on the air. I think. Yes.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was.
What's that guy's name?
What's that? Man, I still have him. It's Alex Tourigny, I think.
Oh, yes, it is.
That makes sense. Yeah, because he's still talking basketball right now with the Canadian national team and all.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, because he was on RDS. Him and the other guy were the guys who spoke about basketball.
The big NBA guys. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. They were the NBA like liaison for French TSN, basically. I got to find a photo of the Ballerz.
We have to talk to someone in Quebec if that happens, just to see what the thoughts are. Because the only connection we have with Canada, I don't even know what the hell the PFL is, but I know that there's Canadians in there, and I know that. I found that weird. I guess Nate Diaz's relationship with Dana is like completely severed. He actually said he would never ever go back to the UFC. So we'll see. That would be pretty huge, though. I'm not gonna lie. That would be another one that people circle on the calendar, and it's human nature to kind of want to see what happens in a situation like that. Mm-hmm. And the fact that people hate Jake Paul, he was being booed the entire night. I know it was in Texas, which is obviously a more a Spanish crowd, obviously, with the Mexican connection there, and Diaz, obviously, even though he's from California. But like, if now that there's a good chance the villain gets put to sleep or like killed, that thing would do crazy numbers. And everyone's like, man, all these celebrities are coming out, all these professional boxers saying, why is that so popular? It's pathetic. Like, Jake Paul is still a pathetic boxer. Like, why is everyone like this? And what they fail to understand is that it has nothing to do with the quality of the boxing, to be honest with you. Right? People want to be entertained. The fact that this YouTuber, this influencer, is actually half decent at boxing and talking like he's going to be the next world champion already has people all ruffled and all, all crazy about it.
That's like, right? That's what I love, is that now you're seeing like some of the social media influencer stars actually start to make leaps. And I'll tell you right now, I think that Jake and Logan Paul are the biggest douches that exist. Okay. I'll tell you right now, this is not an endorsement.
Everybody says that.
You can't disagree with the part where they built that brand and this kind of bad boy Dennis the Menace brand, and they've transcended from being YouTubers to literally what we're talking about. Two fighters each get paid $10 million. Like, that's way more than being a YouTuber, man. Like, you're a celebrity boxer, or whatever you want to call that. But what I will say is, I was like, I would much rather pay for pay-per-views. Like, if I'm going to pay like 50 or 70 or $100 for pay-per-view once a month, I'd much rather watch that kind of stuff. Like, I don't care about watching beautiful boxing. Like, yes, it's nice to watch good boxing, but it's like, unless I'm way more into the personalities of fighting than I am the technique. I'm not a fighter. You know what I mean? Yes, it's nice to see good fights. Like, everybody wants to watch a Tony Ferguson fight where it's like everybody's bleeding. Sure. But otherwise, like, I would much rather just watch like Nate Diaz in different boxing competitions, or Jake Paul, or whatever, like these kind of more interesting marquee pay-per-views than watch the UFC try and fill the slate with good fights once a month or every weekend almost.
That's exactly it.
Like, that works for UFC fans. I'm not taking away from UFC fans. I'm saying for me, as more of a casual when it comes to MMA and fighting, I just want to watch celebrity matches all the time. I'd pay way more money for that than for
people want to be entertained at the end of the day. That's it, right? This is, and I use this comparison a lot lately, is like F1 racing. Okay.
Yeah.
Grab this entire new audience in the last couple of years with the Drive to Survive show on Netflix.
Yeah.
Everybody. The North American audience was like, holy shit, F1, where have I been all these years? I got to watch this. That was incredible.
Couldn't get enough.
The problem with that is that right now the sport is being dominated in the most boring way possible.
That's awful.
At the worst time. The Vegas Grand Prix is making its debut this year. Miami has a Grand Prix. Austin's got a Grand Prix. Like, they've got 3 in the US right now. And the viewership is going, like, it's just disappearing by the way. With the dominance of one racer, which is not supposed to happen. It has happened over the years, but not to this level. But it is boring as hell when the same guy on the first lap takes off, and no matter where he starts, whether it's first or 15th on the grid, the guy's won no matter what. Like, that's not appealing. And every time I comment on this on Twitter, I get destroyed by Europeans that they're like, if you don't like it, get the hell out. I'm like, well, that's not the point. The reason I'm actually commenting is because I care about the sport and I want to be entertained. But you're not entertaining me right now, and you're not entertaining anybody in North America, and you should care about that audience. So
I agree. Yeah,
kind of the same thing. I think, right?
I understand where the purists are coming from it for F1, because I think that it's like there's part of that's kind of the nature of the sport, where it's like some drivers and some teams will have like a next gen car before other teams do, or just have like a better combo, something they innovated a little faster, and that's like a necessary evil of the sport to push it. I can see that mentality, but listen, you're trying to sell 60 laps of racing in the US that isn't NASCAR, that doesn't have giant pileups all the time, and
exactly,
wrestling out back and shit. It needs to be really epic.
And it's not right now. Like, it's
interesting
because you can literally turn it off after the first lap now. Like, you're like, okay,
that's what I'm saying, is that it's not easy.
But you're right, it is part of the sport. But it's just the level it's at right now. It's boring, right? You know what I mean? And there's no other form of racing where it's like that. I know, NASCAR's got its top drivers and all that, but it's not the same driver that wins every race. And it's not.
No, it's hard. It's hard to win.
It's almost like they brought people in at the wrong time. Because they brought people in during that season of Lewis and Verstappen. Like, Lewis's dominance kind of just ended with that, sketchy ending there. And that was kind of when Drive to Survive started, around there, a bit after. But and it's tough to watch. But that's what I mean, though. If these fights were all over in the first round, like, I don't think the Ben Askren fight was a good fight for Jake Paul, because everyone questioned what the hell Ben Askren was doing in there. They're like, hey, this guy was paid off, right? And people were telling me, oh, Nate's paid off. I'm like, if there's one guy that's not paid off, and I would be shocked if he was, to be honest with you, it's Nate Diaz. That guy turned down so much money with the UFC just because he's like, fuck you, Dana. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Right? That no money in the world can get him to throw a fight. This is just not how he is, right?
No.
The guy almost went through the ropes, man, in the 5th round. That was
his knockdown. His knockdown was amazing.
I was dying. In the octagon, you can't go out the ring. But
that's just the last point on that, is that, like, that's another point why I found it just so amazing, that it's like he took this hard hit, he almost fell out of the ring. And then Jake Paul jumps on him, started pounding him some more, and everyone was like, oh my God, he's in so much trouble. And just recovered back to normal like 30 seconds later. And it was like, what the hell? Like, my God, this guy's amazing. Like that's
a
what I mean. It's
monster.
like I just want to see him. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like, do you ever see that episode of The Simpsons where Homer becomes a boxer? Do you ever see that?
I didn't watch
Homer,
Simpsons ever,
Homer
even after we were allowed to.
This is a long time ago, but Homer joins a boxing league at Moe's Tavern, and he figured out a strategy where if he just gets punched in the face for hours, the other guy will get too tired and he can beat him. So he becomes like a champion boxer by doing this, by not throwing a punch. And at the end, he fights Mike Tyson, who like beats shit out of him.
Actually, I did see the Tyson part of that.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. With Nate Diaz getting hit, it just reminded me of Homer just getting like punched.
Well, Nate was the one who asked for 10 rounds. It was originally supposed to be 8.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And that was kind of the strategy, is let this guy go crazy on me, and then maybe I can kill him at the end. But Nate just didn't pack a punch with those gloves on. It seems like it wasn't. No, it's just too late in his career.
Okay, last question for you on fighting before we talk. Actually, we talk about the next celebrity fight. That might be the best fight of all time if it does happen.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going. But first, I was asking Steve about this. What do you think? Like, if you had to take a shot to the gut during a fight, what do you think hurts more? A full-on punch with boxing gloves on? Because they would, I'm just talking about like the body of each other. While you're standing grappling, a knee to the gut, or like a freaking side foot kick, a full kick to the gut. What would hurt the most?
I say knee. I say knees and elbows hurt the most. That's my thought on things. Like elbows, if you know anything about elbows, they're sharp like a knife, and they cut. Part of your knee is like that, not as sharp, but I think a knee would freaking murder you. Just like they take a knee in the nose, there's nothing worse. It breaks your nose immediately. An elbow to the nose breaks your nose immediately. A kick, you have a chance. A punch, maybe not, especially with a glove on. But a knee would kill, man. I'm telling you right now, a knee would absolutely murder you. Right. Yeah. A foot's powerful too, though. Like those leg kicks, I could not take those leg kicks. Like I have big thighs, but not like that. Like I'd die, man. Like, even if these guys are dying after a couple of those leg kicks, it
doesn't. It's not about big legs. Like that's just like you're just.
It's nothing to do with that.
Bruising the muscle. It doesn't matter how big your muscles are or anything, man. Like you just get crushed with those leg kicks. I think that's what I realized watching more UFC. I was like, man, those leg kicks are awful. So hard fighting after that.
I actually want to ask you one thing before we move on. Do you have any interest in seeing Conor McGregor ever again, either in the UFC or in a boxing setting?
I watched his documentary recently, right? I enjoyed it. That was cool just to see his like daily life, I guess. But it's clear to me that he's washed. So, and the UFC feels like it's kind of moved on. I think they could bring him back, but I think the danger is that if he just gets his ass kicked a bunch more times, that'll further tarnish it. You know what I mean? Like losing twice like that to Poirier is just like, and it's the second time I heard it, like I get it, you know what I mean? But it's not like, I feel like it's just kind of gone. I would love to watch him in like more marquee kind of funny boxing matches and stuff like that. Like I think he still wants to compete. I'd love to watch him compete at something else, but I think if he comes back now, there's too much risk to his like career overall thing than there is reward. I think there's a higher chance that he wouldn't do very well than he would do really well. And I think it would just be kind of embarrassing for him. And
I think I agree with you, man. And you know how much I'm a fan of guys just kind of leaving when they're at the top and not further.
Absolutely.
Leaving at the top. Oh my God. I don't think we ever see him in the octagon again. I think there's no chance he's fighting Michael Chandler. He will absolutely get killed against Michael Chandler. That's what I think. I don't see it. I don't think that's a real fight.
Just beat Poirier.
That's what I'm saying. There's no chance. Chandler's way too explosive.
Like those guys are still super active and fighting.
No chance. I do think that he's got something in the works with Jake Paul. Because I know Jake Paul said, "Oh, I don't want anything to do with the steroids guy," but that's all bullshit talk, man. That's like hyping up a fight, right? Like Jake Paul knows. What's he gonna say? "Oh, please, Mr. McGregor, I'm begging you, let's fight." No chance. Yeah. He's gonna keep dissing the guy, calling him a steroid monkey, like he's been doing for the last week, saying he's never gonna fight a piece of garbage who doesn't have his life together like him, all that crap. Because you know that's obviously McGregor will keep coming knocking on that door. They're going to come up with a huge deal. The outcome will probably be the same, to be honest, based on what we saw against Floyd Mayweather. But it will be entertaining and people will watch it. And I think that's more where Conor belongs right now, is doing these types of things than ever competing in the UFC again. Once you lose it in the UFC, There is no path back, and it's proven. It doesn't exist. You're done.
No.
That's it. Goodbye.
Right? No, and there's not a good history of athletes like coming back like that.
Zero.
After, like a pretty significant prime. And the ones that did, it kind of leaves a weird taste. Like think about like Michael Jordan, right? Like, he's there's still nothing like it. We all watch The Last Dance. It's fantastic. Jordan's the guy. But like him on the Wizards is like a meme of itself. Like it's like a joke. Like it's like, and he's still good. He's still good on the Wizards, but it wasn't like an old man showed up. You know what I mean? Old man Jordan showed up and taught some kids a couple lessons, but it was like, it made you realize how glorious the Bulls were. And I think for Conor to come back at all now, like I think 10 years from now, if he doesn't come back, you're mainly going to think back on those really awesome Conor McGregor wins that were just like the peak, right? But if he tries to come back again and that's a story for a couple years, then, and he doesn't do well, then fuck, that would suck. So I don't know. Yeah. It's a different era. But anyways, there's only one fight that I would ever, at this point, I could even imagine myself this year paying, and I would pay lots of money for this. And I know everybody would pay a lot. There's no way you would just try and like find a shitty stream online for this. You would need to invite over all your friends, because this is the only fight I could ever imagine where every single person I know would want to watch this, including mom and dad and anybody else. Is
no chance
versus Zuckerberg. Oh, for sure. For dad would love to watch that. Are you kidding me? Yes, mom, for sure. I guarantee. They're gonna text us later. Mom, dad, I want to know, are you gonna watch the Musk?
I say they don't. I say they would have no interest in that. That's my guess.
Oh, this is so good.
They would want to know the result, but they would not want to watch that nonsense. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
Is it happening though? Like, what are the odds? I know nothing about it. I just keep hearing about it. What's happening with that whole thing?
I don't know what the latest is, but I think it's very, very likely. Like, I don't think this is something that Musk would just like mess around with. And I do believe that they're like, because didn't they do the video with Dana? Didn't they do something with Dana White recently talking about making them happen? It's something like, and all the proceeds are going to go to charity. Like it's being organized, definitely. Okay. And that's why, who posted the photo of GSP? Was it
Elon?
Elon, yeah, Elon posted the photo with George St. Pierre. So here's some stuff I wanted to share with you. Is some tweets from Elon Musk earlier this weekend. Okay. And I just saw these this morning. So
I did not see any of
this. This is, I love this. So as you guys may know, Mark Zuckerberg has been like learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for the last like 5 years and apparently has won some. That's okay. So, and Elon Musk is Elon Musk. That guy doesn't work. So this, a comment from another guy said, it's going to be a good fight. And Elon responded. This is a tweet. Elon responded to this guy on Twitter. Ed said, it's going to be a good fight. Elon responded, if the fight is short, I will probably win. If long, he may win on endurance. I am much bigger, and there is a reason MMA has weight divisions. Okay. And then another tweet from Elon, he just tweeted it randomly. Aiming to get to 50-pound free weights this week. I build muscle fast. Physical endurance is my weak spot, so I'm aiming to make this quick. And then another one around the same time. Am lifting weights through the day, preparing for the fight. Don't have time to work out, so I just bring them to work. These are tweets, and everybody's been there, Phil. These are tweets from somebody who just started working out today. That's like, you see people post tweets like an Instagram story. You can, and like at the gym, like some people post Instagram stories from the gym all the time. It's normal. But when somebody went for the first time, you're always like, you can tell they just went for the first time. And that's exactly they're like listing their stats and shit. You're like, that's exactly Elon. Elon just brought weights that day to the office with him. And he's like, yeah, 50 pounds, man. But good on him. Good on him. This Zuckerberg trains like 3 hours a fucking day, probably.
But that's the problem I have with that, is that I don't even think it would be a good fight. Like what we saw on the weekend was a good fight, and everyone wants to see this, but can we not have it like a UFC style fight? Like that's not going to last more than 20 seconds. Like Elon will actually pass out and just like die. Okay. Like the stamina thing, he's never going to get to where he needs to be unless he loses a ton of weight, unless he trains the way Zuckerberg will eat him alive, I think. And we're all going to be like, man, what the hell did I just watch? Like,
no, and not that age is that big of a factor, but Elon is like a 50-year-old man who doesn't work out until today. Right. And Zuckerberg is like 39 and has been working out for years and has always been like, I don't know, always looked kind of fit. I don't know, he's never been like looking, just looks really weird, but otherwise he's always been in shape. So it's like, dude, I don't know about that. And I also feel like that's the thing is like, even you're saying like it'll be, it'd be over fast, it wouldn't be fair. I feel like Zuckerberg's the kind of person who would take it seriously. Like Elon,
very seriously. He is taking it seriously.
Comical with him. Everything's comical with Elon. He thinks everything's kind of a meme. But Zuckerberg, it's like Zuckerberg is like, I'm gonna prove I'm the better billionaire. You know what I mean? You can tell that it's like really, really personal for him. So I don't know.
I think there should be an undercard. Like it should be like,
there has.
I was gonna say Trump versus Biden, but you can't do that. Like that's nobody should be fighting Joe Biden. Man. We don't need any death in the ring. But
what about Hunter? No, wait, is Hunter? No, he's not in jail yet. But what about Hunter versus
Donald Jr.?
Yeah,
that's pretty good, man.
That'd be good. Yeah,
but nobody cares about those guys. That's the only thing. So
no, but whatever.
But yeah, my dad's cooler than yours. Yeah, that'd be a good fight.
It's definitely going to need some kind of really great undercard, though. I agree with you.
I think
maybe what if Grimes, who I believe is still with Elon, what if she fought Priscilla? Is that Mark Zuckerberg's wife's name?
I have no idea.
Priscilla Zuckerberg. How about what if the wives fight each other?
I'll do you one better. Forget the undercard for a second. In a UFC or boxing fight, Elon's dead in the first 20 seconds, and everybody wasted their money. I think you need to do it more like a WWE style and add like objects. I think Elon needs a shot. If you give him like chairs and like things like that, he needs a chance. Like give him props.
They should put
maybe something.
It should be like an American Gladiators kind of thing. You know what I mean? But then where it's like the ring has funny. It's like they actually have a sumo wrestling match or something. Something that's or what if neither of them knows what the sport is going to be? They have to compete in something, and at the time it starts, that's when they pick a sport out of a hat, and that's what it is. That could work. Something like
or put them in like an
all out. What you're talking about last week, like the obscure sports.
What's that movie again where like the people are picked to fight until they die? What's that called? No, not Mortal Kombat, where you get picked from your community.
Hunger Games.
Yes, Hunger Games. What if they were just putting like a Hunger Games style thing on like an island where they have to find each other?
That's a good idea.
And one of them finds the other one at night, and just like I don't know, something wilder where Elon.
It should be like, everyone complains about there's too many billionaires. What if this is really dark. We did like a billionaire culling every year, where it's like it's like, oh, I'm sorry, if you have at least $20 billion, like an insane amount of billions, to keep that, for society to let you keep that money, we require you to go to this island and fight other billionaires. And
they don't have to kill each other. The losers can just all stay on the island.
Losers, they lose all their money. They have to start at zero again.
Why don't they just stay on the island until they win one season and you have like 2 seasons a year?
Oh, they're stuck there forever. That's perfect.
No, not forever. They need to figure out what they need to do next time against these other billionaires.
Forever. They have to stay there
to get them all out of there. Right? You'd see some wild shit, man. Trust me.
They should do that with world leaders or something like that. Like that's what I want to know, man.
Man.
Like you're talking about like Trudeau and Macron having an affair. I want to see them fight. I want to see that as like an undercard. I want to see two, president, prime ministers, like, actually try and fight each other. I think that would be good.
I think they need to put us in charge of the event.
You'd have way more respect for your leader. It doesn't matter if you like their views or not. If once a year you watch them like fight somebody else.
Oh, like we have no desire in seeing Mr. Team Barbie enter any sort of ring. Okay,
he has to wear that outfit too.
It's already bad.
And he's wearing that, and his son's at his coach. So it's all the things you like. Anyways, okay. So Phil, so Zuckerberg versus Elon. You think an immediate win for Zuck?
Right away. I think Elon falls on the ground and he's like dead. That's it. Not dead, but like he gets killed. Yeah, it's not even close. No chance. GSP can't even save Elon. Case.
You can't save somebody who hasn't done any trick whatsoever. No, that's not how it works. So, all right, cool. Right on. Sorry. I just want to circle back on Alex Tourigny from RDS. I found the photos of him wearing the Ballerz on RDS. So we're just gonna.
I knew it. I knew that happened.
Okay, so first of all, let's just go. And by doing this, Phil, while we were talking, I had to go through like a history of his tweets, which are pretty good.
Okay.
So here we go. This is November 22nd, 2022. He's responding to a Ballerz contest, just showing change.
How did you get that? Oh, okay. That's not his current.
It's not his current thing.
Okay.
But he has changed his
Of course. I was going to say
profile photo to a Ballerz. So this is just to show how dedicated he is to Ballerz. Here he is.
Oh,
his
God.
goated goats.
Oh, he was screwed from the beginning with this thing.
Oh, this is like it's crazy to look through people's tweets like this. And
you know what?
They used to like
scroll up. The reason he did that is because Arsenic, who is a fellow Quebecer, sure, was like, yo, everyone do these are awesome. And he definitely jumped in out of nowhere into this goated nonsense.
Les chèvres.
Oh my God.
And then here we go.
Follow them.
Oh, this is another one. The Toronto Spears, which was one of the Toronto Ballers team, which is, I guess, is the closest one that Alex could be part of because there's no Montreal one. They're asking, show us your Ballers shoes and Ballers. So he posted his and a shoe. And that is Ballerz has a 93 jump score. He fucking loved Ballerz. You're not kidding.
He came on the show to talk Ballerz many times. He was on all the spaces we did about Ballerz. He was in all the Ballerz spaces.
Really?
Well, because when Ballerz started,
this guy's like, dude, people understand. This guy is like on TV like several times a week.
Oh, he travels the world following all the World Cups,
this is
the Olympics.
Photo. His last tweet is him at the NBA like draft week or some kind of combine where he's just talking about the players that are like from Montreal and stuff. Like this is this guy is hardcore. Like here he is on TV.
They have their weekly show and everything.
This isn't some like small reporter. Like this is a guy like
they live and breathe basketball. This group that does the podcast. Oh man,
with the Ballerz shirt. There's the Ballerz shirt.
I'm telling you, he was, and I think
that's not the Ballerz from the other photos though. That's not the same.
That was another one he owned. He owned a lot of them. He paid $4 or $5 grand for one. I don't know which one he paid $4 or $5 grand for, but probably that one. And it was a rare whatever, like one of only 5 or something like that.
Oh wait, here, hold on. Wait. What's the response to this tweet from Phil to the one where he's wearing the Ballerz on live TV? Phil wrote back. This is December 22nd, 2021. Ballerz was just exploding. Like the marketplace had just opened, and he posted. This guy, Alex Tourigny, posted himself wearing the Ballerz hoodie like while he was on RDS doing a segment. And then Phil responded, wow, that's incredible, man. Ha ha ha. Pretty soon they'll be everywhere.
Womp womp.
Oh, no.
But wait, what was the timeline there? Hold on. December 22nd.
I think that's like the day the marketplace opened.
But that doesn't make sense.
Spaces when they were opening the marketplace.
Oh, the marketplace. So it was okay. So you knew what you had before that.
Yeah, and it was like, what's the floor going to be? And everybody's like freaking out. And the floor went from like 1,000 to like 1,800 or something on the first day. And it
did. It stood there for a little bit too, around there. There was a lot of potential because a lot of people saw it as kind of people laugh when you say the next Bored Apes. But it was like the closest thing on flow out of all these flow projects. It was the closest one to not only NBA Top Shot because it was basketball, but it was the closest thing to that crowd of people that had missed on Bored Apes and anyone else, even if you ordered Bored Ape. It was the first time on flow. You were like, okay, we might have something here. This might be their token NFT, and their big celebrity one. And there was a ton of potential. And I will continue to say that I think it's the most disappointing part of the entire, NFT and Web3 journey for me is how Ballerz ended up. Everybody was into it. Like there was that NBA 2K League player who sold his for like, what was it? Was it like $100K? That number one.
Wade bought that. Yeah.
The top ballers out there was sold by a professional 2K League player for more money than he ever made playing in that league. And he actually sold it at the right time. He bailed out of there. And everyone's like, man, why are you selling that? That thing's going to be worth so much. And he actually pulled the trigger, right? But yeah, it's disappointing how it turned out. We thought we had something. I mean, even when those hoodies started coming out, it was like, oh, yeah, look at me. I'm rocking my Ballerz. Like, what are these things? Mm-hmm. Right? And it's not about the game. Everyone's like, man, it's because the game didn't work out or whatever. But it's not about the game. Yeah. I think you just could have kept things, I don't know. It's hard to really understand where it went wrong. But that's a story for another time. My theories. I don't really, I can go after people all I want about who kind of screwed up with that thing, but yeah, it's disappointing. That's all I'm going to say. Look, you had someone on live TV, on national TV, rocking the gear, and super excited about these things that he was spending thousands of dollars on them. Yeah. And now I would love to hear what he thinks, to be honest. You know, I'd love to talk to this guy and say, hey, what did you do with your Ballerz? And like, do you still rock that hoodie? Probably not. I still rock mine sometimes, but
yeah,
I don't even own that.
I don't have one. I don't have one, and that's
no. Some guy delivered it to me at like 1 a.m. that night because whoever was making them was in Toronto, and they heard I was going courtside to the Raptors with our good buddy Apelicious, who came on the show, opened that number one there.
Yeah.
They heard I was going courtside with him the next night, so they're like, "Oh man, we got to get you one of these." You know, like they're the biggest thing. Where do you live? Like, we'll drop it off. I'm like, okay, cool, and we'll be there before 12. 1 a.m. The doorbell rings. There's a guy, some guy with a bag is like, "Yo, here." I'm like, what the hell is going on here, man? And he got it to me. And I rocked it, and people were actually screaming Ballerz at the Raptors game. It was a couple of Ballerz screams. And, you know, we felt on top of the world at the time. We really did when that was happening. But, you know, it all came crashing down, unfortunately.
Oh, man. Yeah. A story for another time. I feel like now it's the second week in a row where we have like a quick segment about the death of Ballerz. So
that's true. That's true.
Current floor is $60.
Anyways.
Anyways,
yeah.
Price is Right.
That's it. That's all they get.
All right. There's two other things we need to talk about. Do you want to talk about the frustrating one first, or the top shot this week?
Let's end it with Top Shot, and let's get into
something a little bit more
more obscure. I'll let you set the tone. I'll let you.
Well, I mean, this is both. I'll promote the project first because that's good, because then we need to get the word out still, despite everything that's happened. So last week we airdropped the Media Pass, right? The First Mint Media Pass, our new project, out to everybody who held a First Mint Day 1 who wanted to claim one. So we airdropped, I think, like 195 of them to like 165 people, and then also we kept 15 of them to hand out for promotion and all this other stuff. So we did that. And basically how these passes are going to work. And there's a nice blog post out about this that if you get the First Mint newsletter, it came out. I'll put in the comments. We just put out this blog post about it. Basically how this Media Pass is going to work is just going to be the full pitch. Okay. Starting August 23rd, we're going to have a 15-week season of live streaming. Okay. So every Wednesday night at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern, we are going to be doing a live show. Okay. And this is a part we haven't revealed to anybody yet. So I'm going to tell you right now, as a little alpha on the show like this. Each episode will only be 1 hour long. These will not be live streams that are like drag on deep into the night where a bunch of randoms come on at the end and we're just going and going. And we're like, all right, should we end it? Like, no. Not that kind of live stream. You know what kind of live streams to talk about? Every like spaces and like thing is like, should we end it now? I don't know. And then somebody says something else. No, these are an hour. This is a broadcast. Okay. This is a 60-minute time slot. We're not starting late. And we're not finishing late. Okay. So you can set your timers, prepare your bedtime routines, whatever it is you do to fit around that. We're going to be going 15 weeks. Okay. I can't tell you yet what is going to be on each episode, but the episodes will be different from each other. The way to get onto these streams will be through the Media Pass. Okay. And there are 15 different types of Media Passes. None of them have revealed yet. Okay. So there's 210 of them out there. They're unrevealed. They will be revealed sometime next week. Out of those 15 utilities, experiences, let's call them, some of them give you access to the live show. So some of them is like, one of them might be, you can be a trivia player on the live show. Or you can come on the show and pitch a project that you love or that you've created. There will be other ones that are funny little fun things like rewards, like you get some merch from the First Mint, or you get to have a private Zoom dinner with me and Phil, where I'm literally going to send food to your house. I'm going to DoorDash a meal to your house if you have dinner with us. We're going to make it a nice little soiree. It'll be a nice soiree. Anyways, so and a variety of other things. There's other ones like, oh, your pass gives you the right to write one tweet on First Mint. Right. So there's all these different utilities, but a lot of them are going to funnel into our show. These NFTs will only be valid during this season. So as of like November 29th at midnight, they're done. You can't redeem them anymore for anything. Redemption instructions will come soon, but that's basically what we're doing. It's very exciting, and a lot of people, we've gotten great feedback from our community and everybody else. So thank you everybody who's given your feedback. I think a lot of people are already thinking about ideas for a season 2 and like just having this whole kind of gamified.
We've got some great ideas that were for season 2.
There's a lot of
people trying to guess what's in season 1. They're like, I hope you have this.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah,
that's a great idea.
Really good. Yeah. So we're already getting really great ideas. So keep them coming. But yeah, a really fun project. Again, having a very set amount of time is really fun. We also wanted to make sure, like, instead of doing like a group vote to pick like a guest, which is what kind of like a DAO might do or something like that, we wanted to give every single person who got one of these passes like the individual choice of one thing. You get to choose one thing. You get to choose a tweet. You get to choose a guest, or you get to sell it on the market, or you can trade it to somebody else for something that you want. If you're not a day one holder, you don't have one of these, they are on the market. Once they reveal, I'm sure a lot of people may list them because maybe they don't want them. Maybe they're going to keep them. We'll have to wait and see. And it's very exciting. Now we'll get to the less exciting part, which is last week when I was airdropping them, I airdropped 5 of them to Phil's wallet so that Phil could do whatever he wanted with them, like giveaways, give them to some other communities, whatever he wants to spread the word, or just keep them and use them himself as he pleases.
Which wouldn't make much sense since I'm going to be involved in almost every single one.
Yeah, you can write a tweet from First Mint if you want.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to ask me. You can just go ahead and do
it. And I think just for a bit more clarity, LG, for those asking, so I still get this question so much. People are like, what? There's a First Mint Discord? How the hell do I get in there? I'm sorry, I get this all the time from people we regularly talk to. They're like, why didn't you tell me? Why am I not in there? I can't find it anywhere. And the reason is because to be in the Discord, you must own one of the OG day one passes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And those are available on OpenSea. There's some outrageous prices out there, but there are people who there are people who occasionally list them at a decent price. We don't have any extra to give away. Okay. So I feel like a jerk when I tell some of our good friends this. I'm like, if I had one, I might consider giving it to you. I don't have any. It's not like I have like 20 of them I can just give you. All right. Only a certain amount were minted. We can't just out of nowhere pull out more and give them to you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
But it's a fantastic community. I think everybody in the community would agree that, as things kind of dipped in the NFT space and in Web3 and all that, the ability to still have the same community and talk things out and talk about other things. Now we talk about sports all day in there and other things, other topics, I think has really been appealing to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right. Like
it's community in there. That's our home base. Absolutely.
When you've got nothing else going on, I think community is always going to be number one. And if you're looking to be part of that, you can still buy one. So, but anyways, so these 5 season 1 passes were airdropped to me by LG, which was awesome because that's my vibe. Doing giveaways, teasing people with them, finding something crazy to do to give them away is 100% what I love to do. Now, the last thing on my mind would be to sell them. Okay. Because like, what the hell? Like, what kind of asshole move would that be if I did that? So, couple of days ago, I think I'm going to say there's quite a few.
At first I thought you were selling them, and I was like,
why the hell would I do that?
I don't know, but I was like, at first I was like, that's a little weird. I was like, I guess he can if he wants.
Yeah, I was like, why though?
Like, why is he selling them?
Yeah, that makes no sense. So how this started is I had them in my wallet. They actually showed up in my hidden wallet. And again, for those who don't know, the only way to get these, if you weren't me, I didn't fill out the form like I probably should have, but LG knows. He knows to hook me up because I'm lost with all that stuff.
No, you're not. I mean, you're like on the other side.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like you're on the inside. Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah,
but I'm not good with forms and stuff. But anyways, a lot of First Mint members, the only way to get these was actually to fill out a claim form, and a lot of people either forgot or missed it. Obviously, half of those people
people forgot, man. Like freaking, I was gonna call it MBL and Clegaines, who is no longer a First Mint member. He sold his like the other day.
I guess we tagged him too many times.
After we tweeted that the claim was done, they come on Twitter within seconds being like, I totally missed this. And it's like, dude, it was on for like a month. Like we put it everywhere. Like I don't know. Like, you had an entire month to see like the Discord.
Just like you missed the First Mint party in New York, right? Of course.
Yeah. Oh,
I didn't know about it.
Yeah, I didn't know about it. Anyways, I'm just saying. So those people, I don't care. But there are people in First Mint who struggled with the type form.
They did, which is no. I can see that. So I believe that, and it is what it is. But so, anyways, it's not the entire First Mint community that got these. Okay, for each NFT day one you own, you received one of these. If you filled out the form, you received one of these season 1 passes. So if you own 10 day 1 NFTs, you receive 10 of these season 1 passes.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were left out. I mean, some people miss these things. Not everybody's in Discord every day. Not everyone's got notifications on in Discord. And it happens that sometimes for 2 weeks, you just don't go in a certain Discord.
Yeah, that's fine.
So it happens. So a lot of people were looking, were left on the outside looking in to kind of get their hands on some of these. So LG obviously was tagging me nonstop and people that were looking for freebies saying, hey, Phil's got some, go bother him, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to come up with something really creative and give these away. And obviously I have no use for them. So let me find something good. On the weekend, at some point, this weekend that just passed, I saw a message because I have notifications for every single form in our Discord that comes up on my phone. It's the only Discord where I have that. Every other Discord is muted. I don't get anything. I saw a message saying from a member of the First Mint who was able to get their hands on one of them saying, I got one, had an offer accepted on the market. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But like, who the hell already sold one without even knowing what's in there, right?
Yeah.
And then
one of our community members put out an offer of 0.04 ETH on the collection.
Is that what it was? I didn't even know that. I just haven't.
Yeah, he put up. Okay. So Ryan put up. First of all, when we were after we put out the blog post on Friday morning last week, when I was in our Discord doing it, kind of like a Q&A about the pass and explaining it to people, Ryan swept the floor of the First Minute day 1 while I was talking. He like bought like 3 of them. Yeah. And then
I met that guy in New York.
And then he put up an offer on the season pass of 0.04 ETH, which is like $70. Yeah. And he put 3 different offers. So yeah, kudos to Ryan. Cool, people like Ryan is exactly who the pass is made for. Like people who like, they're just like, I love being part of this community. I'm just into it. I want to give him as much like power over what we're doing as possible.
And not just that, he's like, that's what I mean. Got one for me? No. Okay, fine. I'm gonna go get one. I don't care. I'm not waiting for you and your free.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you're right. That's cool.
He missed the form. That's right.
So I saw a message from him coming in saying he got one, and then he said, "I got the real Phil D's," and I'm like, okay, that's obviously people teasing me, as in like making fun of me that I would sell them or what. I'm like, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, whatever. Like, what the hell? People are talking
weird.
Shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So I thought nothing of it. Like I'm busy. It's a long weekend. I don't have that much time this weekend to go in there and whatever. But then yesterday, I'd been out all day on a boat. I have a huge day. It was nice weather, out partying all day.
Long weekend in Canada is that Phil's out on the water. Come on.
Yeah, that's right. Phil's out on the water and jumping in the water. That's right. It's pretty exciting. Yeah, water is freezing.
Jumping in the water,
awful,
man.
Yeah, you know it's a long weekend when I'm doing that with no booze involved, right? So, and on the way home, I was almost home, and I saw a message from LG coming in, and I opened it. And it was, you sold one of your, whatever he called it. And right away, I'm like, no, I didn't. What? And when I parked the car at home and stopped, I actually opened my MetaMask and every single one of them was gone. And kind of when you get that shock of like, it kind of hits you like, oh my God, what just happened? I was like, man, I was kind of stunned. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I don't ever click links. I don't do anything like that. I just don't understand where they went. So right away, I went to my hidden folder. I'm like, okay, they went back in hidden for whatever reason. And there was nothing in there. And I could tell by the amount of NFTs I have, that's how it tells you that number at the top, that it was back to 28, which is what I owned before those were airdropped in there. I know because I haven't touched that wallet in forever. And then I'm like, okay, this is messed up. So I posted in our Discord and I'm like, all right, I need some help. Somebody check this out. Like, what the hell could have happened? When I go in my transfer history, there's nothing. When I go in my activity history, there's absolutely nothing. There's no sales because I haven't touched that wallet since I sold, I don't know, something in March. Okay. We're in August right now. There's no history of what happened to those NFTs. And I don't know how to read the back end of it. So it's not like I can go and check out what happened to them. I have no clue. So a bunch of people came in and they were saying like, oh, you were the first one to tell me like you made a transaction to Binance. And I'm like, people are going to find this hard to believe, but I'm like, LJ, I don't even know what the hell Binance is, to be honest with you. Yeah. If anyone knows me, I use Newton as a crypto wallet, which is a Canadian thing, and that's it. I don't know anything else. I just don't. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so what seems to have happened is I still don't know how they got the NFTs out of my wallet without a trace. I have no idea how that was done. But they were, I guess the offer was accepted on one of them, but I don't know if that was in my account or in the other account. No. Like, was that accepted in my account and then the money withdrawn? Or was it done on whatever wallet they were transferred to? But they were transferred to another wallet without a trace, which is really weird, man.
So I think in MetaMask, if you want to see the MetaMask only shows you like transactions that you initiated in, because okay, so when you're looking at your activity history on MetaMask, it's only showing you the activity history of stuff you did on that device.
Okay. Oh, on that device,
if
not even altogether.
Somebody's controlling your MetaMask from somewhere else, that tab in MetaMask will only show you on that device, I believe.
Oh, that's weird.
You have to go to Etherscan or whatever chain it's on and put in your wallet and see the giant list of transactions. And that NFT is on Polygon. So you would have had to go there, and maybe you would have had to change the setting in your MetaMask wallet to Polygon to maybe see that.
But I used to see them without doing that. I used to see them without doing that. I know of that option because of those Toronto Maple Leaf, Carlton the Bears NFTs.
Right. Yeah.
I had to put those in my wallet, and they only show up when I put it on Polygon. But these showed up no matter what. It didn't matter if I was in Polygon or not. Right.
So what I think basically what's happened now, and this is happening to people, is their NFT wallet, gets compromised at some point. Like somebody somehow gets your seed phrase, or you sign a transaction that gives somebody access to your wallet, but they don't immediately drain it because the wallet doesn't have much in it, right? And like your wallet before those, like just had whatever kind of just a bunch of NFTs. You know, I have a few wallets like that too, where it's like, this is junk in here. You know, I don't even have any ether.
That's my main wallet,
right? Like $10. Yeah. No, but that's fine. Yeah. Well,
I have 14 cents in there if you're.
But you don't keep anything important in there, which is good.
Nothing.
Right. Exactly. You have 14 cents. You have money. So
it's gone.
But I think what they do is then they don't. So they get access to those wallets, and then they have like whatever system set up that'll tell them when the value of that wallet changes. So when they they're monitoring your wallet.
Yeah, I was going to say, how'd they go back in there? Yeah.
Ryan put up an offer for 0.04 ETH. They get a notification being like 1 year, because that triggers all like the Floor app, all that kind of shit. It'll trigger that it's like, hey, you have an NFT worth $70 now, right? So I think that is what happened. Ryan put up the offer, and then these people got the notifications. The people that are doing this is not a targeted attack. Like these people do this with thousands of wallets. You know what I mean? Like it's pro scammers. So then they're like, oh, we have this wallet has 5 NFTs that are worth $70 each. And they're like, this wallet's been dormant this whole time. So let's go drain it now. And they drained your wallet. They listed 4 of them for 0.01 ETH. So about
drained my wallet of just those, because the other shit I have in there would never sell.
No, they didn't drain anything else. Yeah, they just drained that. And then they with the 5th one, they accepted Ryan's offer for $70. So that's what happened. So I'm going to try and work with the platform that we used, Fair XYZ, our partners there. I'm going to work with them if we can somehow edit the contract to maybe change those passes away from what they are, or make them null or something like that. You know, that is, I don't know.
Crazy,
I mean, I don't think anybody really care if I alter the rules of the game so soon, because this is not really part of the game. That, or it is part of the game, and someone's like playing some kind of long con on you, or you're long conning us in some crazy way.
No, I can promise you that's not the case.
No, when I saw the history of that wallet, it was like, oh, pancake swap, like all this complicated DeFi shit too, and I was like, oh, that's not Phil.
That's weird though, because
I was like, it's definitely not him.
I'll be honest, LG, like I don't click on links, man. I just don't. And
well, that's what I mean. You might have like a year ago. You know what I mean? Like you might have done that a long time ago. And
I'm pretty careful with that stuff. And I actually I'm not part of enough stuff to click on anything. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of shocking, but you're right. And I don't think it helped that the floor was set to what it was set by the first Mint members. That's what somebody else said. They're like, they set a floor of like what? What was the floor? Like, it was like
0.04 was not
the scammers.
Oh, you're right. You're right. That's what
the floor prior to the scammers was what? Really
they
high.
Set it to 69,420 Matic, and Matic's worth 70 cents. Yeah, so like 50 grand, you know, like 40.
So these guys thought they were dealing with like a Rolex, but they were dealing with like a cereal box.
Turns out all they could get was $70 for it, which is still worth their efforts, I'm sure, in some way.
Yeah.
But
so if you're listening, do not buy the floor ones at 0.1.
No.
And not right now. I don't think we'll get them
anybody
back,
out there who wants to do a little bit of wallet hygiene. You can go to Revoke. What's it called? There's a website, revoke.cash. revoke.cash. This isn't a partnership thing. This is a website where you can go, you can log in with your wallet, and it will show you who has access, which collections you've like given permission to like see your NFTs, to do something with your NFTs, and then you can just go through them and sign, and you can create transactions where you remove you remove their what you would call it, their oversight over your NFT or whatever they have. So you can do that.
The only thing I want to say, and this frustrated me the first time with MetaMask, when my very first wallet where my first day one NFT was in, I lost the seed phrase. I couldn't find it, and I logged out by accident. Could never get back in. It frustrated me back then that there was no ability to recover something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm used to, when you lose that with your banking password, you can do all sorts of stuff to get it back, right? And I wasn't used to something where that's kind of where I was careless. I'm like, you know what? No matter what happens, I'll be able to retrieve this password or the seed phrase. And that wasn't the case. In this case, though, to me, there has to be some sort of two-factor, because now we're used to this two-factor, whatever the hell it's called, the 2FA there. We're used to that everywhere. Like my crypto wallet, I can almost never get into it unless I confirm that it's me from that device. Had there been something saying, hey, someone's trying to get in from a different device, is this you? Obviously, they wouldn't have been able to touch anything, whether they had my seed phrase, my password, and all that. And I don't understand why we're not this many years later at that stage with something like MetaMask. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to me.
The thing is, and this isn't necessarily ever going to work on a large scale because people might not want this. The thing is that that's the point, is that you can be totally anonymous and use MetaMask.
Right.
You know what I mean? Is that it's like, that's kind of the point, is like, they don't want to be linked to phone numbers and shit.
Yeah, I get it.
Although you can use, I'm pretty sure you can use your credit card to buy in MetaMask.
But you should have that's to put.
Yeah, I know, but I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying that it's like, I think there's purists who want it to be kind of like that. It's like you're at your own risk.
But that's not something that will ever be set up for a full onboarding of keeping all your finances in there if it's not more secure in that way. Do you know what I mean?
No.
It'll never be something that goes full blown, hey, forget banks, I'm using this now, because it could all be gone in 2 seconds, right?
And people are so unsafe anyways.
That's what I'm saying.
Their stuff.
Exactly.
Like people, and I guarantee you, people listening to this show have all of their passwords. And I don't mean everybody, okay? So you have a good password hygiene, good for you. But have all their passwords in like a Google or an Apple Notes document on their phone. You know what I mean? Like that's store passwords.
That's the
and you can pay for a program called 1Password where you can just log all your passwords, like a little phone book and ones, and it's $2 a month. And most people don't use it. You know what I mean? Like, it's even faster than your little notes document. It's super helpful. People don't use that. So people are already so bad at that kind of shit. Their people's passwords are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, it's just like ridiculous.
No.
I think asking people to keep your seed phrase and do all this like jump through the hoops, I think that's impossible.
Yeah,
on a large.
But and like I said in the Discord, it's just for me that's very discouraging to have something like that happen, because
I'm sorry that happened.
Like, I have an innocent wallet, to be honest with you. I don't do much, right? Like, and for me, like, if you look at my history, I haven't gone in there since March, and that's when I accepted an NFT that I won in like whatever Discord, right? I think it was like winning a Ballerz poker tournament. I got like some NFT of some random shit, and that was the last time I touched it. But yeah, so it is what it is. They're gone now. I've had actually quite a few First Mint community members offer to give me one of theirs. Ballerz, obviously nicest guy in the world.
He has 15 of them.
He has 15, but I don't want that. Do you know what I mean? Like, as nice and generous as that is, he's the best. He really is.
No, we've got extras. I'll send you a few more.
Like, you earn those, and you don't even know what yet. So hold on to them, and trust me, you'll be able to. You'll enjoy them.
You should earn them. Maybe that's what we should do with all the people who didn't do the type form properly. We should have a season preview show next week where you all come on to compete for some media passes.
I like it.
That could actually be.
Well, no, you need to do that with all the ones who missed out. They need to be all lumped together and thrown into like the big war ring.
You're like their king now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
but I'm not holding a sword. The crown's off. Yes, and I'm jumping into the same octagon where we can all kill each other.
Yeah, I think that there's something really interesting there that we could do that would be really fun. Okay, let me think on that. I think let's plan to do something next week as like a preview.
I like it.
And reveal show, and then we'll reveal them once we're done. And then we'll do like a reveal show, and that's like a season preview of season 1. So
there you go.
Some kind of live show like that next week is good. We'll definitely have another podcast before we do that. So just keep an ear out. Yeah, you should totally compete for them. I was wondering.
I'm game. I'll compete, but I don't. It's not the whole point behind it.
I'm so glad you're saying this, because even today I was going through the list of ones I have left, and I was like, all right, I'll just give some to Phil. But I'm so glad.
No, don't give me anything for now.
You feel like you have to earn them.
I need to sort out my wallet first and figure out what the hell I'm going to do with that before anything else goes in there.
So. Listeners, please write in this week. How should we make Phil compete for the media passes that he lost?
I'll do anything. Just don't say jump off into a cold ice bath or whatever, because that's coming. That's coming as soon as we open a number one somewhere. Yeah, I promise you it's coming. I think 2024 is the year
for. Phil jumping in a cold lake in the winter is spoken for. Is when he opens a number one out of a pack live on air. Okay, like that's already.
That'll happen live. I'll disappear for like 15 minutes, and I'll reemerge live from the scene with my cell phone on. That's happening no matter what.
Yeah. So that could be a future media pass, as somebody gets to tell you where like
like the Money in the Bank in WWE, like it could be anytime, any place, but the minute Money in the Bank,
they can use it whenever they want,
is cashed in. That's it. That fights for the title. It'll be a one of one. I like that, where the minute the person feels they need to cash it in during a live show, I need to leave immediately, head to the closest like frozen lake, dig a hole, or like jump in the unfrozen part and just go right. So that's pretty good. I like that. I think that'd be pretty popular.
That's wonderful, man. That's so good. I love this. These are all the kind of ideas.
Season two.
Yeah, season two is just torturing Phil. That's what it is. It's like all new. Every week is we're going to get a big sponsor, and every week we're going to send you to a different place that you don't. And it's going to be some kind of crazy challenge.
That's pretty good, actually. Some stuff like that around town would be actually pretty good.
That's your dream, is to be on that type of show.
I'm down for anything. You know this.
So I have a friend, speaking of reality TV, which I would never bring up to you because you watch reality TV and I don't. But I watched the first episode of Farming for Love. You seen this?
Sounds like Joe
Canadian reality show, and it's where they take a bunch of young, hot farmers, Canadian farmers, and then they go and they put them online, and they're like, "Do you want to be on a dating show for one of these farmers?" And people respond. And then they come and have dates with those people, and then choose, like, each farmer has like 6 people, and then they have mini dates with them. And then the farmer chooses which like 4 or 5 people out of those 6 back with them to the farm to be in like a bachelorette style show with them. And so I watched the first episode, but I have a person I know from school is the host, Sabrina Jolie. She is the host of that show. So it's funny. So somebody I went to college with is the host of that show. So pretty cool.
Get her involved.
Yeah, let's get her. let's meet her. Here she is. Anyways, Farming for Love. You got to check it out. And what's funny too is that the first episode, they're like, okay, you're in groups of 6, and one of you is going home, and the other 5 are going to the farm. It's just such an awkward selection process where just one person gets kicked off, and all they had was like a 15-minute date with the farmer. And then they're booted off. It's like the saddest thing. Like, you didn't beat. There's 6 of you, and the other 5 people were better at like the 15-minute interview, basically, than you were. Like,
I'm not sure how I haven't heard about this, but yeah,
it's like a Canadian show. Like, Canada made its own show. So yeah.
All right,
anyway,
check it out.
Check it out.
And by the way, one more thing about these season 1 passes, the NFTs, LG, is that anyone can buy them. You don't have to be a member of the First Mint Discord or community to get your hands on them. Right? Once the utility is revealed, all right, even now you can buy them.
When you want, you get whatever you want.
Do whatever the hell you want. So that'll be pretty exciting.
Man, once that utility is revealed, though, man, what is gonna happen? You know, like, what are people gonna get? I'm excited. I don't even know how people are gonna react. Like, this is
what are the 5 compromised ones gonna get? That's another thing to keep an eye on.
Hopefully, I can handle that. Hopefully, I can change the metadata on them to be like blanks. And
that would be great.
Change the art on them before the rest, and just totally. And then maybe I can get OpenSea to like flag the account or
like
something.
An FU one. Yeah, that'd be great.
Between now and the reveal in like a week or so, we can handle that problem and make it really clear to anybody else coming in that not to buy those NFTs. Yeah, I'll try my best. They might, you know what might happen is they might end up being eliminated from the game, but I might not to add another 5 to them.
Get them the hell out of there, man. Actually, make sure Ryan's is not part of that.
Ryan already bought one. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Okay, so we're not going to touch that one, but yeah. All right, Phil. Let's end with Top Shot. Let's. I think it's about time we wrap up the show. Let's end with Top Shot. A big drop this week, a big one. They've had some good ones lately, but this one is all the remaining Series 1 moments, including like 22 different legendary moments and whatever, are all in a Series 1 pack drop this week. You need to get a pack, you need 40 trade tickets, and in the pack will be 3 different Series 1 moments. They might all be crap. They might all be it. You might get a triple Ish Smith or something like that. Series 1 debut, whatever you know. Ish Smith, NBA champion, by the way. I have to clarify that. Ish Smith,
that's right.
NBA. So that's happening, I think, tomorrow. It's Tuesday. So, and it's in the evening. It's at 8 o'clock Eastern. I've got 80 trade tickets lined up. Everybody wants the LeBron debut, which retails at $1,200 or on the marketplace at $1,200. Everybody wants the LeBron debut or one of the nice legendaries, like a Jaylen Brown hollow in there and Victor Oladipo Cosmic. Ooh. Phil, are you going? You got any trade tickets? Are you going for this?
Here's my deal with trade tickets. I've been collecting damn trade tickets for the last year. Okay. But I don't have patience for anything. Whatever the hell the last drop was that required trade tickets, I used all of them on that. Okay. I can't just sit there and not buy when there's a drop. Those locker packs I didn't need to touch. But whatever the hell it was that they dropped, was it throwdowns or something like that? Something just happened. Hot packs. Whatever the hell it was.
Hot packs.
I used everything on that. I've got nothing else to sell. I'm not going to buy new moments. I noticed that the floors, though, like the $1 moments went flying off the shelves.
Oh, yeah.
Like Spotlight. The Spotlight set has no more $1 moments. I haven't seen that.
So it's worth it because JBB, John Boy, he put out a projection that I think the average value of the packs was $67. So really spending $40 on trade tickets, if you believe it's $67, the average value of a pack there, spending $40 on trade tickets is you have a good chance to make $27 basically or so.
Right. Worst case scenario.
If they're $1 each. So I traded in a bunch of stuff that was like $2 floor, but I don't care. I was like, I just want it out of my collection.
Good. So you're in. I'm not in, unfortunately, tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to bother just buying $1 floor moments. I don't even know if there's any available left. There must be. I mean, everything was $1. But, if I was, though, my strategy would be, I might change my mind in the next, 20 hours. My strategy would probably be to buy all the $1 moments from the Raptors, because that's my main kind of investment in Top Shot is Raptors moments, and burn those for trade tickets. Right? Like I think that's a pretty good strategy when it comes to, if you're just buying random shit to burn, kind of make sure it's stuff you already own, because you're bringing the mint count down. Right.
So Top Shot is doing something really interesting with the timing of this drop, because it's funny you're bringing up that stuff. So I think, do you remember when they announced the locking, right? And we had the great locking event this past July, July 30th. I didn't lock then because they hadn't revealed the team leaderboards yet. You could just lock things, but you didn't know for what. And I believe at the start of August, around this time last year, is when they revealed team leaderboards. Because when team leaderboards came out, I immediately locked a bunch of Raptors moments. And those moments unlock in 4 days from today. And I think we don't have the data. Top Shot has the data. We don't have the data. I think the people who locked, a lot of them locked when the team leaderboards came out.
Yes.
So I agree with that. Locking is actually this week, right? Because when team leaderboards came out, I immediately I locked everything, right? I was like, oh, Raptors, I gotta be at the top of the Raptors. I went totally berserk. All right, I'm finding the blog right now.
But here's the question: have you unlocked anything?
No, you know what? Or maybe they changed the date.
But you know that, I don't know if you know this or not. I found this out recently. Your moments don't just unlock; you have to manually unlock them.
Go and unlock them, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so they don't just automatically unlock like we thought it was going to happen. The great unlocking is if they just automatically unlocked, right?
I might have been wrong about the date.
They stay locked unless you do something.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Anyways, I think that there was a big date around now last year where they announced like what the rewards were going to be. Because you know what it is? You know what it is? It's not that they announced team leaderboards; they already had those out. But they announced the tiers of prizes. That it's like if you're in the top 1,500, you get a prize, and you're top 500, you get a prize. That's when they announced it. I think it was this week last year, and I think that there's more moments that are coming unlocked this week than there are any other time in the year. So I think I think it's strategically planned,
of course,
to get as many people to have a really great trade ticket drop to significantly reduce how many. You know what happened when they started talking about the great unlocking coming up? They worked on two things. One, changing the display of the moment count, right? Because that's changed now. It doesn't say one of 40,000. It says the 40,000 is now reduced to whatever it's been burned down to. So I think they had to get that in place before the great unlocking. And also, let's get people to trade in as many trade tickets as we can and burn them all. And that's why they're unloading all Series 1 right before a bunch of new stuff unlocks, so that floors are up. You know,
that is
so there's no $1 floor. That's exactly. It's very strategic.
This is what their data
Who's been
told them.
scheming behind the scenes. The economist at work.
The
Economist, where is
I
he?
agree.
He's
that's,
working
that's
his
exactly
magic.
But how many packs are there? So how many people are getting packs tomorrow?
I don't know. 40,000 packs.
It's a lot, eh? Wow.
Okay. It's a lot. Like there's a lot of really bad Series 1 moments that they're getting rid of.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they have
some are worth nothing anymore. Some are worth like $10, man.
Nothing.
Not even, right?
Yeah. Sorry, Ish Smith. Nobody wants Series 1 Ish Smith. You know what I mean? Like doesn't matter if it's his debut. Like it's pretty useless. And they also have all these other random moments from Series 1. And they're like, oh, it's a common LeBron. It's minted to 3,100. That's super rare. And it's like, yeah, is it really? Nah. Not really. You know what I mean? Like it's a random play. And, you know, for a long time, people thought that bubble moments were going to be really compelling. I find them so boring. So weird. It's
that would
like
be the
really
holy
boring.
grail of Top Shot was like these special bubble moments. And
no,
there's nothing exciting about that era of the NBA, to be honest with you. Nobody wants to remember that. I'll be honest.
It doesn't look real. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, that's not really like a thing that happened.
That's right.
You know? Yeah. It's just a little lackluster for me.
We'll see what happens. We'll see which influencers get the big moments.
Yeah. That's what's going to happen for sure. So, anyways, but I'm going to go for it. You know, I think that this is, I think it's well engineered on their end, obviously, and I think for me, it's good bang for buck. Maybe a LeBron, whatever. You know, I think that's great. So I'm hoping for it.
I am about halfway there in trade tickets, and from what I have left from the last one, so I'll consider it. We'll see what happens.
How's your Spotlight Series trek going?
I'm now 10 away, I believe, from the whole set. So what they're doing is to complete the set is they are doing these challenge rewards, and nobody knew about it. So like they didn't announce, hey, we're doing 2 last challenges. So I went in my packs because I check my packs like daily on Top Shot, hoping to get free packs out of nowhere. Like I'm like, maybe they'll airdrop me a pack for no reason. There's never anything in there. And then all of a sudden I saw who was the player? Was it DeMar? I don't know who the hell it was. No, it wasn't DeMar.
It was someone like that. Yeah.
But there was a pack and I'm like, what's this from? Then I went and looked and there was a challenge. And what I like about the challenges is if you own the moments, it actually locks them in for you and you don't have to do anything. Okay. But then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do like I usually do. And I'm going to go sell this thing and then I'll rebuy it on the market when the price goes down. So, but I got a good serial number. So the first thing I did was lock it. As soon as I have a good serial number, since I'm collecting the entire set, I lock it. Goodbye. I'm not going to be tempted to sell it. Then I went to the market and I saw the floor was like, I was expecting $2, right? That's what they all cost. The rewards actually are like $4 or $5 minimum. It was like 20 something dollars. I'm like, okay. I don't really understand why this one's $20. Like what's happening? Is it because none are listed, but there was a ton listed and the floor was 20 and they were all selling for that much. And it's because the mint count was now threatening to be the lowest mint count of every single Spotlight moment. It was lower minted than the Giddy moment, which is at floor of like 60 or 70. This one was now minted at 1,600 something, which was less than the Giddy moment. I haven't checked since, but if that's the case, this should now be the highest priced item in the Spotlight collection. And I can't really understand why. It's maybe that people didn't see it, right? Like other times. I think that's what it is. I think people didn't see it and forgot to participate, right? So we'll see. I don't know which one is. I don't know why Giddy would be the highest priced one now that he is not the lowest minted moment in that set, right? So I'm now 10 moments away from the entire set. Let's just put it that way.
Right. Okay.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But the floors are going up. That's not my thing. When the floors go up, I don't buy anymore. I'll just wait until this whole craze of trade tickets is over. But I mean, trade tickets means they get burned. So it's like the floors might stick to what they are. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I'll wait. I'm not in a hurry. Do you know what I mean? There's no rush. I'll get them at my price line and how I've been doing it the whole time. And I think I probably benefited saving $30-$40 from that. From waiting until I find it for $1 and a good cereal.
Typically, I mean, doing the challenge is usually so you can get a good cereal. Like, but otherwise you're pretty.
Oh yeah. I sell it off right away if I can't. But like LeBron's $3, man. I'm not in a rush to get that.
No,
right? People be flooring those things at some point again. The usual.
Oh, for sure. You
The
can just wait
behavior
till
of
next.
Top Shot.
You just wait till
Oh,
it's
the new
closed.
season. Oh yeah.
Just wait until next year. That's that's all. It'll be way less than whatever you're paying
Exactly.
now. But it's a good.
Yes.
As I say, it's a better time to finish a set, unless you want to actively like participate and like do the challenges all year. Just wait a little while longer.
That's right. And
Until
on that
it's
note,
closed.
there's some breaking news, LG. I have my Zach Levine pack. So I check my packs every day. See it? It's waiting in there.
Okay.
Can't really see it, but so let's
Are you
open.
gonna open it?
I'm gonna open it.
Okay.
Let's
Whoa!
see.
What if it's a number one?
That'll be
What if
the
it's a
wildest thing ever.
number
So
one?
everybody sees it's still closed. Claim pack, it's still there. I know you can't see because of the glare, but here goes. Let's see what I get. Let me turn up the volume.
Number one.
Open pack.
Come on, give us number one.
Here we go.
There's too much
Hear that?
glare.
Yeah, I know you can't see, but I'll press it right now. All right, here we go. What is it? What do we see?
I can't fucking see that, man. It's all I see. I see 4 numbers.
Oh, I get screwed all the time. Number 15 of 1677.
Ooh.
All right. That was underwhelming to say the least.
What's Zach Levine's number? 8. Forget it.
That's low minted though. I think that might be even below the Giddy again. So that's crazy. Holy shit. All right, I'll have to floor that one because
he's out of control. Phil's counting cards at the.
What club should
corner.
I start for the spotlight set? You know how there's a club for all these different sets. Maybe I should start a club with a massive spotlight.
Who else is going to be in it? Who else is going to be?
Somebody is. It says that.
Who do
like
you
quite
know?
A few people
That's in that. You know what? That's a good idea. Maybe that's what we should start doing. We should start bad NFT clubs. That actually makes way more sense. NFT clubs of things that like nobody wants to be in a club with. You know what I mean? Like just terrible NFT club ideas.
Oh.
I think that'd be like, down, like you can only be in this club if you have an NFT that's down 95% or more. You know what I mean? You have to prove it. You could like wire Collabland to recognize that or something. Anyways, so that's terrible. But some other kind of funny thing. Spotlight Club with Phil. That'll work.
I think so. We'll need to start something once I get there. We'll do that live. I'll buy the last moment live on the air. I think that's a good one.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, you're gonna have some live shows coming up where you can do it. So
yes,
we'll be doing that soon. And I think that's it for this week. So Phil, stay safe out there in the streets, bro. And get ready for whatever challenge our listeners are going to want you to do to get that Series 1 media pass.
I'm ready. I'm ready to get it back.
All right. Happy Canadian Civic holiday, Phil.
Woohoo. Thank you. You too.